Hey, this is Alex Mal for Destiny, and today I have the great pleasure of speaking with Meckanimal. For those who don't know, I've been following him for many years. He's a true natural inspiration, and today we're going to talk about many subjects regarding strength training, muscle building, calisthenics, pound for pound strength, and a whole other topics like that. So welcome aboard to the channel.
Hey Alex, how you doing? It's been a long time coming. We've been planning to get this thing work for a while now, since spring, if I recall.
Yeah,
And
it's been a long time, and I think it's the first time we actually speak one-on-one on camera, so that's pretty cool.
yep, finally.
The crazy thing is I've been following you for years, man. Like, even when I
Uh,
was really big on the calisthenics, I remember when you had the dreadlocks, when you
right.
were doing the pistol squats outside, and
Right.
the things on the
This.
balcony, and the beast mode and all that. So it's been a while, man, and I feel like I know you personally, even though like it's the first time we're speaking one-on-one. So I'm honored to have you here, and I'm looking very forward to our discussion.
Sounds like a good plan, brother. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Absolutely. So I want to start off by asking a little bit about you. First of all, how long have you been training for, and can you just tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I started in 2010 after I watched a video of Hannibal for King. I'm pretty sure everybody by now know about Hannibal for King. He's this ripped dude that does some cool stuff in calisthenics. So right after I saw him doing those levers and human flag on the gate, I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to do some pretty cool stuff. That's how I started training. And so I started in 2010, making it a whole 8 years so far. I've been training for 8 years.
Right.
Before that, I've played basketball. I've been an active kid. I grew up overseas, so I've been a very active and athletic kid growing up, but never got into strength training until I was 24 or something. So when people say I'm too old to start, I mean, it's never too old. I'm pretty sure, because some other people started at the age that I am right now, and even for those people, it's never too late. You might start in your 30s or in your 40s, as long as you make some good step forward and get better each day, each week, each year. It can only be a win. So yeah, I started in 2010. So it's been 8 years of steady progress. Of course, you have roller coasters, injuries here and there, but I've only had one injury, a major one, which is not that major because I never required any surgery.
Right.
I had to tore my pec here, like you can see it dents. Always gonna be a scar of war, I would call it. So hey, I learned from it, and so far, knock on wood, no more injuries. So I'm super, super, super attentive to my body, and as much as I want to go beast mode, I try to be really, really careful
Right.
on recovery, because it's all recovery. I overdid it, and it just happened without me, uh, see it coming.
Right.
So that's what happened.
Right. And I think that your years of training experience made you smarter as a whole. So now
Oh
you know not to ego lift, and you've
yeah,
sharpened your senses in many different ways.
oh yeah. I mean, ego is a powerful thing. We all have ego, and you have to use that ego, of course, to get ahead in the game. For to compete against yourself. We tend to say, or we compete against ourselves, trying to be. Of course, you want to be better than you, but without comparing yourself to a certain extent to somebody that inspires you, and try to compete with him or her,
Right.
whether it's friendly or unfriendly. Without that drive, there's no way you can get ahead. So as much as we want to compete against ourselves, we need to have this that somebody that you look up to, that you don't want to get so far behind him that there's no way you can catch up to him. So you want to always, trying to get on the person's step, and use the person as an inspiration.
Right.
Because motivation, you don't really need it. You need to just build that discipline. So whether you're motivated or not, you need to be able to wake up in the morning and get the fucking job done. But you can use somebody that you look up to as an inspiration. And I want to hope that that person he's already motivated and has that discipline. That's why he inspires you, because without having somebody that inspires you, life especially in fitness, probably be dull, you know. So, and I want to thank social media. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You get to see so many athletes from different walk of lives, then doing some crazy stuff that can that should spark some type of drive. And at the same time, it can make you depressed because just by one click, you can get to that person that's so gifted. You're like, God damn, it's gonna take me forever, or I might never reach that person level.
Right.
So that's why you have to tone down what you call them, uh, your ego, and accept that even if you don't reach that person level, you're gonna maximize your natural potential. And it's hard to stay natural, especially with social media. Yeah, you see people that's at so much level higher than you, and you want to be like them. You're competitive. You want to be at their level. You
Right.
try hard. You train so hard that you realize there must be something I'm doing wrong. And sometimes you're not doing anything wrong, man. It just takes time. You need to stay consistent, and there are level to consistency. So if you want to be natural, that's why it's so gratifying when you reach your goal because you know how hard it's been to reach that goal, and you don't know what the next person is on. He might be on some enhancement. He might just be gifted, and he might be sleeping much more than you do because of your work and your lifestyle. You may not getting enough rest, and last of all, maybe your program is not just optimized for you. There could be so many things that you're lacking, but at the end of the day, you just got to do what you got to do, man. Get the fucking job done and don't look for excuses. That's
Right.
about yeah.
Well, I think that's a solid message, of having that consistency, being a disciplined, badass warrior, and just getting the job done no matter what, and just putting in that work year in after year out. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons why you've been so successful as a natural. You know, and that actually wants to bring me on to my next question, which is what really motivates you to remain in this state? Because you did mention that there's a lot of pressure around you. You see guys that are enhanced on a daily basis, especially with social media. But like beyond that, what is it about natural training that appeals to you? Like, what do you like about it specifically?
Well, the reason why we all started fitness, or we think we started fitness, is for health. So longevity has always been number one. So I'm not a high authority to talk about ethic to anybody or to suggest a way of life to anybody, but I believe I don't want to call it cheating, even though people who are enhanced they hide pretending that they're natural. So just do that. I mean, from that perspective, they are cheating. But beside that, if somebody's just doing, I mean, as a recreation, I mean, that's his life. It comes with a lot of risk, and I don't think it's worth it, especially if you're not competing like at the high level, at the elite level. Because if you're competing at the elite level, another reason why I'm thankful not to be, in a specific sport, because I know how competitive I am. If I was to push my boundaries and really work hard and still not getting where I want to be, I will have to want to get on some PEDs, which I don't want to because I want to be that cool grandpa at 80
Right.
years old, be able to crank some handstand push-ups, some levers, one arm pull-up. Why not? Because it can be done if you take care of your body, take care of whatever you put in your system, and exercise consistently for the longest. There's no reason not to believe that at 80-year-old you will be able to be one of the fittest person in your surrounding. Because I mean, being fit is in relation to your age. So you want to be, you might not be able to be as fit as a 40-year-old person, which it makes no sense because our body is decaying. But if you build enough muscle mass to what you call to slow down the
Yeah.
decay, you will be one of the fittest person around, and you'll be hard to kill. And the saying that goes by, yeah, a stronger person is harder to kill is true because at that old age you'll be able to reap the benefit of it. Because I think that's the main reason why we do all this stuff right now. It's just so that when we're old, we have a good quality of life. And I want to be able to inspire the youngest generation because Even when I started calisthenics, it was cool to see that kids see you do some cool stuff, and they want to do the same thing. They want to emulate it, and who knows, that can be just the spark of, I mean, another greatest, achievement in the world. And that would just start by you doing something that inspired that kid. And I don't have kids yet, but I want to be able to have grandkids that I can play with and that I can challenge.
Right. Yeah.
Challenge to take my spot. That's my ultimate dream. Be able to live that long. Knock on wood, and I hope we all gonna have a good life. Because no matter what you do, I mean, there's so much you can control. 85%, however, of the illness and disease lifestyle induced. So I believe if we can control those 85%, whatever is linked to your genetics, that's 15%. Hey, it's gonna be what it is. But at least I mean, you get diagnosed with cancer or maybe autoimmune condition, you know that you've done everything in your power
Right.
to to stay away from it. But if you happen to be one of those people that played around with anabolics, I mean, substances, and PEDs, what could you tell yourself? Have you done your homework to stay away from triggering? Maybe that gene that you have that was supposed to be left alone by not messing around. Especially if it's just to go to the gym, man. You
Right.
see those kids with acne everywhere. They're scrawny and like they have no base strength. The best of them probably can get. I mean, can get what you call, can compete with you at your worst lift when he's enhanced. So I feel like it's a waste, man. If I ever get on something, man, I'm gonna be talking about it tomorrow because I know I've been struggling with some of those skills, and I know if I was to get on some shit that can strengthen up my connective tissue, which is growth hormone, shit, I will be a working machine. Because until now, like it's been 8 years I've been training, it's hard to find this, I mean, recoverable volume, optimal recovery volume
Yeah.
to keep on going. So there's so much I can do, man. Like it's the nightmare. So I try to optimize my recovery by any means, by I mean naturals, supplementation or whatever it is, because I don't believe in industrial supplements. So I just try to do my research. Ginger, turmeric. Uh,
Hmm.
I heard of CBD as well. Gonna experiment with that. So anything that can lower the inflammation and let me get my work done, I'll carry to it. But sometimes I just can't, man. The joints are so inflamed that you only have to rest, and it's hard to rest because you're thinking,
Right.
how long am I gonna rest without losing all the gains that I've been, accumulating so far? So mentally, it's hard. I think you need to find that balance, learn how to rest, how to meditate. That's why I try to do a lot of mobility drills as well. So I feel like I'm doing something while I'm letting my major
Hmm.
muscle recover. Yeah, I think that's one of the way to keep me disciplined about training. Otherwise, I'll wreck myself until death. That's one of the reasons why I got so jacked, because when I first started calisthenics, I didn't know better. All I knew is you gotta do push-ups, you got pull-ups. Okay, what else movement is cool? You got dips. Okay, all these three, just these three exercises over and over again on repeat, day and night, sometimes twice a day. I mean, if I was to say, I'd go by minimum 300 repetition a day. So it was a super super extreme high volume. That's what triggers that hypertrophy. And genetics is a big point because you know you gifted for that to build muscle. When like in 3 months time, I have my the before and after on my YouTube channel, my first motivation video. You could see that, okay, this person, he's prone to build muscle because in 4 months of just going balls to wall, my body has changed. I was
Hmm.
slender, from that slender, skinny kid, even though I thought I was big, to a little, a jacked version, with all the round shoulder and stuff like that. So I think genetics has a lot to do with it, and maybe and I don't like to mention that because I don't want people to use that
Right.
as an alibi not to train hard. But if I die tomorrow, I believe I'll be that person that maximize his natural potential. And I know my strong points and my weaknesses. My neural efficiency is not where it's supposed to be. My, however, I will do a great bodybuilder, which I have no interest into because I'm more into performance and everything. The body is just an expression of all the hammering and consistent hard work over the years. And I cannot what you call them. I won't say I'm not happy about the physique. It's pretty, it was a pretty good unveiling of, you know, of my destiny or my faith. But I'm more attached to the performance part of it. Be able to be badass. That's why I include calisthenics and weight training. I don't want to be left out of any fitness endeavor. I want to be in as much discipline part as possible that can help me become a better athlete. That's about it. I just want to move. I just don't want to
Okay.
sit there, Yeah.
You
I
put
think you put
there were a lot of good messages in what you said. You were talking about longevity and health, and I think that is an excellent message. Talking about natural recovery and all that, and even consistency. That this is good information. And I think people really underestimate what could be achieved naturally. Like when I look at your physique, I mean, it's incredible. You have a good amount of muscle mass. You have these amazing feats of strength, good mobility. It's like the whole 9 yards is accomplished for the most part. And people don't realize how far you can actually take it when you're willing to put in the work. You know. And another thing too, I was curious because you mentioned you want to be a badass in all respects. You want to be good
Mhm.
at calisthenics, weight training, the mobility.
Yeah.
So when did you start including weights? Because there was a long period of time where you only did calisthenics, right?
Yes, sir. I did for the first 3 years of my journey, from 2010 to 2013, and so at the beginning, like I said, I didn't know better, and but I knew that we had to train legs because when I got in the game, I would see that people troll all the time on YouTube videos on the calisthenics guy. Oh, they don't do the leg. That's why they do this. They can't do legs. So
Right.
I use it as a reason to do leg. I wanted to show the people out there that calisthenic guy are not just about upper body. So I started doing pistol squat. And
Right.
speaking of pistol, I've been blessed as well with a little bit of mobility that I enhanced. And the first time I tried pistol squat, I was able to do, I think, two solid one, even though the form
Yeah.
was not as great on the right, which is my dominant leg, and I was able to do 1.5 on my left, which is the less dominant one. So it's something that I was already prone to do. So after that, I just used that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show the community that you can still be a bodyweight athlete and be able to work legs. So I
Hmm.
just start doing legs randomly, pistol squat, and playing around with it. You know, I've done everything that you can think of on with the pistol squat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like on balls, like a circus streak, and all this crazy stuff. And then I started incorporating the weighted part as well, because I didn't want people to just see us as party trickster. So I wanted to show that it can be powerful as well in the pistol squat. So from there, I've built up to what you call 'em, to 100, 145 pound of pistol squat with the bars in the bottom on each leg. And since then, the last time I really worked on pistol squat was 2014 or 15. By 15, I stopped it and focused solely on the back squats. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, is I used the fact that people were making fun of the calisthenics guy and show them that okay, you can still do calisthenics and be a badass with legs. And I made a name for myself in the calisthenic community. Meckanimal, he's the guy who does
Right.
leg, and it became my main feature. So I would say I'm not that special when it comes to upper body. I'm pretty balanced. I don't have an incredible fit upper body, but the only thing that I know that a lot of people don't come close to is the pistol squat. So
Yes.
I've put it to the point where it was boring, and I realized that it was not transferable to the back squat. So I decided to just, I already have the mobility for it. I have the stabilizer for it. So I'm just gonna put that there, and maybe when I need it in the future, just training the skill for a few weeks will bring back the old self. And I decided to focus on the back squat because I realized that as strong as my pistol was, it won't transfer to the back squat, which is uh, another advice I would give to beginners. If you want to have super strong legs, pistol squat are great, and I'll be the person to advocate that pistol squat is the way to go. But if you ever want to, what you call them,
Move on to the back squat.
move on to the back squat, don't sleep on the back squat. Do them simultaneously. Don't just focus like me. I won't say wasted because I mean it helped me focus on the pistol to get to the point I was. But I wish I had done them simultaneously and increased my back squat as I increased my pistol squat. Because now I have to work kind of from scratch to be able to get to that because I would have wanted to be in the 500 squat by now, but I'm still in the 400 just because I actually didn't train the movement as a whole. Because as much as my quads may be strong, my
Core.
torso
Yeah.
is not ready for that much load. So it's something that I have to retrain my nervous system to adapt. And then so far so good. I mean the journey there was kind of the moment I decided to focus on the back squat. I did the squat every day for like 4 months straight. It was pretty cool. I did it for mental fortitude. So that's where I built it to like 405, 415. But by the end of the squat every day, I was dead.
Yeah. For sure.
And right after, I noticed that I sprained my adductors, like because while I was doing it, I was just through the whole process. So it was badass as well. Waking up every day and know that you're gonna fucking squat and that you don't have any choice. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
And I noticed that only after 60 days, I reached that max, and then 30 days later, I I was able to get the same max again. And after that, I was just tired. I felt like there was no point keep going, and I just put an end at 126 days after my first squat every day. So it was a good experiment. I mean, uh, I collected data for that as well because many people have done it, but until you've done it yourself,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much people can say. There are a lot of things that you do as well on your own that works, but people believe it don't work because for them the literature has not, backed it up or anything. But that's the problem.
Yeah.
I believe in anecdotal data, and I just try to collect as much data as possible. At least it works on me, and I use that to see if it's gonna work on my clients. And once I see it's a certain repetitive pattern, then I know that for sure this is another anecdotal evidence that I want to use for myself, and I don't really care what the science say. But the science always gives you 90% of the way to keep people from injury. That's how I see it. As a
Okay.
trainer, you want to have your certification just to know how the body mechanic works and keep people from injury and help them optimize the movement. But other than that, in terms of coaching, I think it's experience, man. It's not black and white. There's so many ways to get there, and it only becomes the experiment. And that's why, like, when people wonder why I got a coach like in 2015. I mean, this year, 2018, at the beginning of the year. I mean, you already do. I'm not now. At some point in your life, you get to understand what you're doing, and then if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's not working. Then you know that something is there that's not going on. You need to troubleshoot it, find the issue, and address it. And my issue was I needed somebody to pace me because I overdid it.
Okay.
Speaking on the volume, so for like almost a year, I would play that yo-yo game. I will not either I will rest too much after I reach like a level of, a phase of overtraining, or sometimes I just cruise through the overtrainings because I was just kind of lost, and I figured that I needed to refer to my friend Metin, Little Bit Stem. I've known him since like I started, and I've had a lot of respect for his craft. And back in the days when I wasn't even focused on skill work, he was one of the few people at 220 pound, 100 kilogram, that were able to do all these features. I mean, this skill that I'm looking forward to do now. So I couldn't find a better fit for guidance. So I mean, I hired him, and we did really great this year because he just with him I can let go of my ego and listen and just do the stupid silliest stuff ever that I will not do on my own. Because a lot of time, after a long time of doing, you're like, come on, man, we're not gonna work on basic pull-ups. I mean, after all these things, because I want to be able to do this one-arm pull-up or this liver, why would we work on this basic? But I had to listen, man, and we just went back on the scratching board. I mean, on the scratching board, and it was a great experience. I worked with him for 6 months, and the rest of the year I'm on my own. And so far, so great, man. I needed that because after that, it was a good momentum. And after that, now I'm just breaking all kind of record. Like every week, I'm breaking a record to a certain extent. And so far, so good. I'm planning to stay away from injuries and just be patient. That's my. So he was the one that I got the idea to start lifting weight because he was among the heavy calisthenics athletes that understood that they need to mix lifting weights with calisthenics. So after I met him, I mean I saw as well Adam, that was one of his disciple, and yeah, I mean Metin, Adam, they're the one that were doing the weighted dips, weighted calisthenics, and weighted pull up and so on. So that's how I started doing some weighted calisthenics in 2013. After 3 years of just doing sets, thousands of repetition, sometime a day. Just that's why I say it's easy to build muscle using calisthenics if you can handle going balls to walls, because you can recover faster with high repetition. It's the proper amount of weight, body weight, not too much weight, not too little. So if you just wise about listening to your body, because even through a big pump, you can still keep working out without really messing anything up. And when it comes to skill, it's a different because the skill usually you need to use some harder variation to stimulate force adaptation. And when your connective tissue are not ready for it, the pain is just excruciating. You can't really fight through pain. But pull up dips, the basic movement, yeah, you can sling them however you want. I mean, you just be sore. But the moment you warm up, you can just sling them. However, you have those people who have reached that level, or maybe who are gifted with recovery. I know friends of mine, they can do all the crazy weighted pull-ups and weighted this superset, and still tomorrow they're ready to go. And that's another thing. When you see that, you're like, man, fuck my life, man. How am I ever gonna get to that level? It can be discouraging because sometimes you're like, fuck. But again, if you're somebody with a big ego, then he'll fuck you up. If you let go of that ego and understand that you're just gonna do whatever your body can let you do. Some people are just like that. They recover just like that. The same way I was able to build muscle much better than the average person that's been doing it as long as I do it. But I just don't care much about the muscle. I just want to do my one-arm pull-ups, man. That's all I care about. And being able to do it at a heavier weight is even more impressive. All the skinny calisthenics guy. I mean, I don't knock them down, but if only they could do much more than that, that would be cool. That would be impressive, Like, because you have the ants, what you call this guy, the deadlift guy that can deadlift like 600 pounds, stuff like that. Wouldn't it be cool that a skinny calisthenics guy have the ability? Because they have those people, they have the ability to have crazy, deadlift, and if you can deadlift, that's athletic, you know. Then you can transfer that to cleaning and stuff like that. That's power, glutes, you know, the glute activation. There's no glute activation whatsoever in terms of power in calisthenics. That's another sad thing about calisthenics. That's one of the weaknesses of calisthenics. Athleticism, why you can muscle up all you want, you can jump in, but when they put you on the floor and you have to activate and explode, you can't do shit with all the power you have in your muscle up and your scapula. But again, it's arguable that people will tell me, well, who needs to be uh, sprinting, you know, have the power in your glute that you may not need it because those people are specialists.
Exactly.
Oh well, good for them. I mean, me, I just want to be badass. I don't want to be limited to just be known for one thing. And I know as a human being, each one of us can be that balanced. You don't need to have that extreme level of performance, but you can be so balanced that your life is good, man. It give you that confidence that you want among the few people that can do certain thing. It boosts your confidence. You know, people want to have girls and think it comes down to having a nice body. It's not that. It's on your head too. So I mean, be strong. That's is the best way, man, to have that confidence. Because even if you're not a violent type of person, just the way you behave, the vibe, the aura will be perceived by people around you. They will know not to pick on you or whatever girls that you want to impress. They will know that okay, this person think he is the shit, and the way he carries himself. Yeah, you won't have to speak or flex in the mirror and you know like that. Nah, man. Just be strong. That's what I would advise people. Be strong, and in the process of becoming strong, you get big muscle. Yeah,
Okay,
big
good.
muscles.
Just said that you can get big muscles with the super high volume training, right?
Yeah.
So does one have to go super heavy in order to achieve just big muscles in general? Like how big were you after 3?
Doing only calisthenics, or sorry.
Just calisthenics, very
Yeah.
high volume.
Yeah,
How
for
big
where
can one get with that alone?
I think I've built by 2013. When I started, I can't really know exactly what, but I know what I weighed myself when I already saw my first results. I was 168 when after that 4 months transformation. But before that, I have to believe that probably 165 ish, I guess. But when I started to 2013, I think I was up to 175. Yeah, 175 by 2013. So I've gained, I guess, let me see, like 10, 12 pounds. Yeah, 10, 12 pounds of muscle. But again, if you think on in your lifetime you're gonna get about 30 pounds on average, pretty much in the first 3 years, I probably got about half of whatever I was supposed to have.
Okay.
Because again, I can't tell you exactly what I was on April 2010 when I started, but by July 2010, I was about 168 ish. So,
Okay.
given that you build about 1 pound, I mean, 1 pound, on average per month, 4 months, probably I was 160, 63, 164.
Right.
That's what I want to believe, yeah. But I did gain, but the thing is the way it spreads out to your body, it looks different. It looks big. So it's not much about the the amount of weight. It's more of the how it spreads out, how the what you call the
Yeah,
proportion
yeah, yeah.
that make you look big. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to know like how strong were you at the weights right off the bat when you first started into it, both in terms of weighted calisthenics and in the gym, because I've seen you overhead press 225 pounds. Obviously, you had a 225-pound weighted dip,
Yeah.
and I think you even had a 235 pounds, if I'm not mistaken,
Which one?
on the weighted dip.
On the weighted dips?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reached like 235 pounds.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what was your strength right off the bat when you started doing these exercises? Like, were you already strong at the weighted calisthenics just by doing the high volume bodyweight stuff only?
I can't remember, but I was pretty strong already.
Okay, so
from just doing strictly body weight, I was pretty strong already before. So I had a good strength base, and I think I want to believe pushing is a stronger point of mine as opposed to pulling where I struggle. I was able to. That's why my overhead press is
yeah,
that high. Like I think 230 at 185 ish. So that's pretty high.
no, it's very good.
But my bench suck because of course you're as good as what you train. But when I tried to bench press in 2015, I think the best I had was 305, maybe 310 shaky. Yeah, I think I have it on my channel. Like 305, yeah, 305. So it's not bad, but it's not great either. But somebody who can overhead press 230, I would think like my bench press will be higher, but it's not. But I believe if I train it in a good mesocycle, I'll be able to get that 315
Yeah,
plus in no time, but I will have to dedicate time to the movement part in itself. And maybe now, maybe I could do the 315. Who knows? Because it's been like 3 years, and I've been working on the planche a lot. And we know that when you get really good at the planche, movement and drill. I mean, rehearse the drills over and over. Your shoulder, girdle strength increases, which can increase your bench press. Like it can transfer to your bench pretty easy. Yeah, and that's one thing with the body weight, the leverage that you use. I mean, get you to recruit muscles, and I mean, in a way that any weightlifting would not do. So I believe, I mean, that's my belief. There shouldn't be, you shouldn't be moving external weight if you can move your body weight like to the basic level. That's my philosophy. Now, if you want to be doing all the discipline weightlifting, that's good. Props to you if that's your passion, because I believe you got to do what you love. But not being able to move your body is not really fitness.
okay,
And being able to move your body comes with being mobile, which is longevity. Again, mobility is everything, and mobility keeps you from injuries. The moment you drop in the range of motion that you're not accustomed to due to your lack of mobility, you can injure yourself pretty easy.
right.
Yeah, mobility is everything. That's my take on it. And
Well,
speaking of so we're talking about the lifts and what you call 'em, when I started with, I mean, weighted calisthenics, because of my strong base of basic calisthenics, it was pretty easy to transfer. That was not a problem at all. And I just got better at my strong points, which are pushing exercises, and pulling has always demanded me to put extra work in it. And even till now, I struggle harder on the pulling. While on the pushing, I'm making tremendous progress that people want. Oh shit, just in this short amount of time, you're able to do this. But how come you can do this? How come you can do that? Like the front lever, for example, I've been struggling to get it,
okay,
you know, lately. But because of my proportion, my legs are just too damn big. So even if I was to lose weight, which I want to, but even if I did, the way the proportion is, it still be challenging. I will have to be ridiculously smaller for the weight loss to help me with the with the front lever.
yeah,
Same thing with handstand, just that my pushing is stronger, so I can balance the other part of the body much easier. But when it comes down to that scapular retraction and depression, the strength is not good enough to counter the legs. I mean the leg size and everything.
yeah,
But I'm almost there. I've been really consistent, being really focused on skills this year, which is the big difference in my training regimen. This year has only been about skill, 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 skill. I wish when I was another mistake I did when I started calisthenics to focus on both skill and hypertrophy,
yeah,
because while you're still light and you learn the skill, it's easy. Once the skill is there, your nervous system knows how to work together. Then you can gain weight, and if you still train hard, you're gonna keep progressing with that weight. But if you happen to gain that muscle without having the skill, then yeah, you're gonna be suffering like me right now trying to get the skill. And why? people will ask me, you already have the physique, why do you need the skill? Because this is a passion of mine, and I know that at some point there's so much sets and reps that you can do. You're gonna need to make it more interesting, and being able to do those strength to perform those strength skill, is definitely impressive. So just for to flatter my own ego, I want to be able to do them. And then on the long run, because once you get you get that front lever good, I mean, it's endless. It's limitless. You can go with the front lever pull up. For a festo pull up, you got all the variation that you can go, and some of these things take forever, so you have a lifetime to reach those goals. And I'm in it for the long run. I'm not really worried. That's why a lot of people give up or get on gear as well, because they don't see that thing as a long term. Anytime I work on something, I see it as a 3 years or 5 years goal. People tend to think I exaggerate, but no, it's true. I mean, I stretch out the ultimatum, and if I happen to do it closer, then hey, that's good. But if you just want now, you think about, okay, I want to work on this skill, and it's just gonna, I want to reach this bench press in within this amount of time. Your ego can get hurt real quick, if you don't take time to set the proper deadline.
Yes.
So yeah, man. I mean, I'm patient, and people tell me why. I mean, I don't understand how you're so patient. I'm like, what else can I do, man? What else can I do? You try everything, you train hard, and you're still not getting where you want to be. What can you do? Be patient. Learn how to be patient or quit. And I'm no quitter. So yeah,
Okay.
resilience. Yeah.
So you talked about skills and how this year you've mainly been focusing on that, less hypertrophy training as a whole. How do you go about building these skills?
Skill is a lot about frequency. The more frequent you can train a skill, the faster you will get it, and now comes the proper amount of intensity. Because you go too intense, and you wanna be too intense and too frequent, then you burn out. So the what you call 'em, the challenge will come to how much intensity you want to put in that frequency for you to be able to consistently milk the exercise selection that you have for the longest. Because within four weeks, if your nervous system don't crash, you will it's either that, or you will not be able to milk the exercise anymore. There will be a plateau. So you want to design it in a way that you frequently train it. Usually, I would say 3 times a week for a specific skill. But when I was training with my team, Little Bit Stem, we did crazy, like 6 days a week. So 6 days in a row and one day off. 6 days in a row, one day off. We overreached for sure, but the intensity was proper, so that it was not too bad, it was not too little. So each phase will be different, like every 4 or 5 weeks, include the deload. Sometimes I had to take like 2 weeks deload because it was just too much volume for me to be ready for the next phase. And I've had usually issues with my scapular area with the shoulder girdle. That's the part that I used to get really inflamed. But I start rolling it a lot more because I feel just because of the work around it has made the musculature around really tight. So rolling is boring, and I don't have money to pay masseuse all the time. So I just force myself to roll more often and release those muscles. But once you fix one thing, it's the other side. It's just always something to how to deal with. But it's just frequency is everything for the skill. And now you need to know the proper progression to go about the skill. The mistake people do is, again, because of the ego, when you start a progression and you stuck at that progression for too long, if you realize that, oh, I feel like the next progression I have it a little bit, I can do it, even though you can't hold that next progression for too long, you jump to that progression because you feel like you're ready for it, because you feel like I've been doing that for long already. I feel like I'm ready for that next level. And then you go to that next level, and that's where you're going to re-plateau because you never have enough, enough tension, enough time under tension for you to create a considerable amount of volume for your body to adapt. So you just jump in that position, one, two. It's not even a one Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi. You will say, okay, 3 seconds, but you go for one, two, three, and then you drop. There's no way you can force adaptation by just, lying to yourself. And so sometimes you have to just go back in the regression version of whatever you think you should be doing and then stick to it. And that's where I think having a coach can be helpful because with me, that's one of the things as well. After a while, my ego will just tell me, damn, man, it's been too long. Because sometimes, even for three months straight, you'll be stuck in that position. But if you don't have somebody to maybe hold you accountable, somebody that's been there, then it's easy to either give up with that and go to something else that you can see the result coming fast. And I think that's sometime like between 2015 and 18, that's been my problem. Because when I started and it was taking too long, I believe that either I start doubting myself, my own methodology, or I just feel like fuck it. I see this one is getting more results. Let me go. So I will go rather train some overhead press or some weighted lifts instead of actually focusing on what I'm having the big problem with. And I do know that I want that, but the fact that it's just taking too long, and I refuse to want to wait and put in the work. But with evolution comes wisdom, and sometimes you just have to embrace your own flaws and try to check yourself and see what you've been doing wrong and some to do different. And I think that was the best decision of my life, man. Whatever skill you're learning, being able to stay in that position, or the regressive regressive version of that skill. So let's say you're talking about a planche, for example. A regression version would be like a straddle planche, an advanced tuck, or a tuck planche. So we're talking about when you first start, being able to even get on the frog stance. The frog stance will be being assisted by your elbow. So that's like the basic level for you to stay in that position. So some people probably will not stay long enough in the frog stance to build the strength that they need to get on the tuck planche. And then maybe after like maybe a month or 6 weeks of playing with the frog stance, they feel like, okay, I've been doing that long enough. Let me jump onto the tuck planche. And then they try the tuck planche, and they barely have time for 3 seconds. And that 3 second is with the butt sagging.
Right.
They're actually not ready for it yet. But because they just feel bored and they're just so eager to learn the skill, they just jump to that next progression just for the sake of flattering the ego. And that's when you get stuck, actually, because you get stuck at that sagging tuck position that you're not really strong for to do, and then you keep on forcing that position without being ready for it, and hoping that one day your butt is gonna by magic get so high that you can do the straddle. It doesn't work like that. You have to stick to that position that you can hold for a long time and do volume. And do a lot of sets with it until you really master that position before you can move on to the next progression. And it just takes time, man. I tell people is take time to to embrace that progression you guys are training in. Make sure that you went above and beyond to master that progression before you move on to the next. Don't just jump to the next position just because you've spent too long in that one position, because it may just be that next week before you gave up, that's the extra volume that you needed to stimulate adaptation. And that's the one crazy thing about calisthenics. I hate and I love it because you can be in that one position, let's say the tuck version, for a long time, and then you skip to progression to the third or fourth progression. So it's not to say that you're gonna be going through every single progression before you reach the skill. But when we start, we have the idea that it will take forever. So we want to get as quick as possible to the next progression. But the thing is, because of our leverages, some people can spend more time a certain progression than other people. And maybe that first one that you get stuck at is probably your biggest progression that you're gonna have to overcome before you get to the skill. So if you're stuck on the tuck, be patient. Just keep hammering it, because maybe just from there you will skip the advanced duck and get straight to the to the really high hips straddle planche. Same thing with the levers. You just don't know. There's no special recipe. We know the methodology to get there, and everybody got their own way to mix things here and there. It's just about making sure that each week you get better. That's it. When you're gonna get it, you don't know. You just got to keep working on it.
Okay.
And then the process of getting there, imagine all the muscle getting engaged. I mean, working in symbiose. Of course, you're gonna have like a nice physique, a crazy physique that bodybuilders may not have, because I mean, can you imagine if all the bodybuilders would train one on pull up, all the recruitment that they can have? Because this is a different beast, man. Being
Yeah,
a
for sure.
certain, you say it's a different beast. Your bicep development will definitely get there. Of course, if you're back dominant, you will be using more of that than your bicep itself. But I don't care what people say. If you were to learn the skill and you use the skill wisely, your musculature in your arm will be pretty dope.
Okay.
But it's just the fun of it
Yeah.
that's to be perceived. Some people just don't have fun with it, so they won't just do it. So blessed are those who are into calisthenics and, uh, I mean, understand that this is a beautiful movement, and it can use that to build like a good physique as well. So
Right.
that's how I see it. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're specializing in these skills, is that really like is that all you're doing? Or do you still perform your accessory movements or weighted exercises? In other words, if you're trying to master the planche, are you only going to do the tuck planche, say every 48 hours? So 4 times a week, you're doing the tuck planche, you're trying to get better at the holds, but maybe you're not specializing your pull-ups so much. You're only doing body weight. Like how would you train for other parts of the body when you're specializing in skills? How specific does one really need to be?
Yeah, you need to be balanced. So for every pulling exercise or skill that you decide to train, you need to have the equivalent pushing and pulling exercise. So for one bent, you can pick like one bent arm pushing exercise and one bent arm pulling exercise or skill. Like one arm pull up, for example, and the handstand
Okay.
push up. Those are bent arm, pushing and pulling.
Perfect.
For goals, for example, that's what I've been working on. And from the straight arm, you have the front lever and the planche. That's it. That's pretty much all you need. And all your programming around it will balance itself pretty easy, because for every assistance exercise that you will use or accessory for a pulling skill that like a straight arm or bent arm pulling that you pushing or pulling that you're working on, there will be the equivalent what you call them, bent arm or straight arm pulling or pushing, exercise that you're doing.
Okay.
So everything has to be balanced. That's what I believe in. You need to pick your goals in a way that everything is balanced, and don't pick too many skills at the same time. It's just one,
Like one
like
push, one pull type of deal.
one at a time. Yeah, because they take so much work and time to adapt that you don't want to put too much variable in it. to confuse your body. So you just that's why it can be boring sometimes to train skills, because you do the goddamn thing over and over again. Sometimes it's not that fun. The end result is usually fun because that's the end product that people can look and be, oh damn, he can do this, but people don't understand the work behind the scene that lead you to that, you know. Because even if you were to hold a front lever for 3 seconds, that don't mean a training. You do it with front lever. That's like your max repetition. That three, you'll be working with the straddle over there, and it's not fun. It sucks. It's ugly. But your until you can make that max like a rep, like a repetition, you can't really train,
Yeah.
with that 3 seconds. So people don't understand that it's all cool and everything, but behind the scene, it's really tough, man. And the heavier you are, the harder it gets. So I would tell you, all the people that start calisthenics right now, trying to work on both at the same time as growing, because as you get heavier, it's gonna be tough. And no matter whether you have muscle or you lean or not, it's still gonna be weight, man. Because
Exactly.
having big muscle don't mean you're not efficient to do it. So you might as well take advantage of, And some people are just built, they're structurally built to be great at calisthenics, and those people should take advantage of it. And people who cannot reach that level should not feel bad, because there is something else that you can excel at that those people can't. So be happy, um, embrace count your blessings, and stop complaining about what you don't have. Be the best at what you do, and
Exactly.
do the best with what the tools that you have, man. People complain about shit all the time. Yeah.
I get it.
Why do you even have to be at that level? Use that as an inspiration. Even if
Yeah.
the person is gifted, who cares? Like, you can't hate on that, because it's just what it is. But you have gifts as well that other people, look up to. Be happy with those, and if you really like that thing that you're not gifted at, be the best at that thing as much as you can. Keep training for until you die. Maybe that last month before you die, you can reach that level. Who knows? I mean, we don't have any
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
experiments, because I mean, for now we know that, okay, how hard work, what you call 'em, beats talent when talent sleep. But I mean, when talent don't work hard. But if talent work hard, there's
Right.
no way that hard work can beat it. It's pretty true.
Yep.
But if you train really hard and you really love that thing, keep training. I mean, even if everybody, the whole world tells you you will never reach that level, keep training. You just never know. I don't think anybody ever been that resilient toward those skill goals. So who knows, man? Maybe at that lies, the body is amazing at adapting. So maybe just keep training it, man. If you love it that much. Otherwise, you don't love it. You just do it for the fame or for
Exactly.
the attention of people telling you that you can do this and that. If you really want that movement, train that thing. Keep training it, man. You just don't know when it might happen. Yeah, and when it happens, it's good, man. It's a good feeling. It's just, I don't know. I can't describe the feeling, because
Yeah.
I mean, I've been good at reaching my goals, but some goals are really so fucking hard, and even sometimes maybe deep inside, I kind of give up, but I keep on training because I'm stubborn. I want it, and sometimes you just get like a big jump in noticeable strength that tells you, okay, you're getting there. Now, whatever I've been doing is not in vain. Either my grip strength has evolved to a point that I never thought it would reach. That means I'm getting closer to that goal. Because for that goal, I need my grip strength to be stronger. So those are little things that you need to be happy about in your training, and keep training it, because sometimes it just takes time, man.
Right.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're dropping some serious truth bombs right now, man. There's some good knowledge, some good wisdom, and it's definitely gonna help out some people. So,
Yeah.
so I think we talked enough about skills, but one thing that you did touch upon was leverages, okay? And the idea that even if you're muscular, if you're heavier, it's going to be more challenging. Hence, why there are some skinny calisthenics guys who can do all these great moves. So I understand that you actually went through a cut, even though you were decently lean. you
Yeah.
still lost body fat to enhance your leverages. So can you talk more about the importance of leanness in body weight training?
I lost a lot of body fat, but I'm still heavy as fuck. I don't think I can lose anymore without
Okay, well, you got a DEXA scan
without
done.
without compromising my hormonal balance. And I think the body just does good at keeping you at the weight where you won't be compromising your offsetting your hormonal balance by keeping the body fat that you need. So I've been stuck pretty much around 185 ish for the past month and a half or so. And I've been doing like that cut since August when I came back from vacation, where I gained some water weight and I didn't like it. I'm like, you know what? Let me use that momentum and then shed off some as much fat or weight as I could. So I was walking around 192. Oh, I mean, year round, and I'm down to 185 ish, maybe 184 now. So I've lost. It's safe to assume that I've lost at least a good 5 pounds of fat. I'm a lot leaner, I mean, but it's still heavy for what I do.
Right.
So I believe until you lose, because you told me that you lost about how much weight you lost, and then the one on pull up and everything
Yeah,
became easy.
became way easier for me personally.
Yeah, I wish I could, I mean, submit my body to the experiment, but I can't lose that much unless I lose muscle mass. And even then, I'll have to starve. It's hard for me to lose muscle mass. I guess some people wish they have my problem, they will say, but I mean, I will have to starve. And the moment I start eating again, the way I train, I'm going to gain the muscle back again. So I don't think it's even worth it trying the experiment. But if I was to really go hard on my cut, probably 180, yeah, 180, 178 ish. But any lower than that, I don't think I would, because I'm probably around like 9% body fat at the moment. So even if I'm willing to go to the 8%, it's probably gonna be in the 180s. 7% probably in the high 170s. But I don't want to go that low in body fat because I still want to be able to deadlift, and which is
Yes, sir.
one of my weak links. So I wish I had started that one early as well when I started training, but never too late. I'm trying to catch up with with the lost time, and so far so good. So I need to have a good amount of body fat to be able to deliver everything.
Okay.
But yeah, leverages will be, again, it's people are built differently, and some people have more mass on the top, on the torso. So you have those people. You have some of the heavyweight calisthenics as well. Even though they are like 100 kilogram, they're upper body dominant. So to me, it's, I mean, even though you're heavy, if you have twig legs and you can do all these planche and stuff like that, it's no different than like a 135 pound guy that's well balanced and that does everything, because most of your weight is in the torso. Of course, you can do a lever and all these things, but I don't want to take away the accomplishment.
Yeah.
They do work hard. Some are juiced up, of course, and again, I mean, I guess there's money in that, or maybe for fame. Why would even juice up to do calisthenics? But because of the attention that people get, and people who don't know better, the praise that they send to those people, yeah, they're willing to do anything just to, to stand out. But to each his own. So yeah, you have leverages. So like somebody like me, I believe even when I go low, it's gonna be it's gonna be pretty even. I mean, you have a good leg development as well, so it's gonna be, as much as you can do the front lever. It's gonna be more challenging than somebody who is your weight that just does calisthenics that don't train much leg because they don't have much to lever. So it does play a role, but that should not be a reason why you won't train, because it's your
Right.
body. Who are you gonna blame for it? That's a
Okay.
loser. That's a loser mentality to always show up. Because yeah, you have those people that think they're big, and then you have people who are big, heavyweight calisthenics, that use the idea that it's heavyweight to not to progress. They stick to weighted calisthenics, weighted dips, instead of actually trying to embrace the skill. And not that you have to be a purist necessarily, but I think it keeps you in mediocrity if you just, because if you only stick to weight calisthenics and you claim to be a calisthenics guy, you're pretty much doing powerlifting, because powerlifters use weighted dips, for accessory, right? If I recall, do
Some
that,
do.
don't they? Wait,
Some
some
do
do.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, anything that, if you, because if you're bigger, you're gonna tend to be good at weighted calisthenics. There's no brainer. There's no doubt about it. So people, as human beings, we tend to do whatever we're good at. And I think I got caught up for a little bit in doing that weighted dips and weighted thing. I wish I had snapped out of it a little earlier, because even now I don't do weighted dips anymore. But at any given time, if I go, I can do for 180 pound for at least 5 repetitions. That's a given.
Right.
So I may not be able at that day to be able to do that 230 or 235 pound, but all I need is just train a little bit and progress to it. But that don't transfer to
To
be able to do handstand
yeah.
push-ups or stuff like that. But if you really train your handstand push-up or planche work, because planche, if you some of those people, the new generation of calisthenics guys, you see them, they're really good at planche and have a little bit of athleticism when they happen to get on the deep bar. Like I'm talking about the middleweight type of people like me. When they get on the deep bar, they can push a whole lot of weight just because of the skill that they have. Because to be able to do that, you need to have a
For
serious
sure.
strength in
Yeah.
your shoulders. So body weight definitely would transfer to a lot of those compound movements in weightlifting. But the problem is, to be great at a movement, you need to train that movement. Just like, so somebody leaving the calisthenics world and going to the powerlifting and think he's gonna shine, you're dreaming, but you're gonna have to train those movements. You may have the
The
like a
strength
good base.
base.
You may have the good strength base to start off and then train, but yeah, without training the movement, you're just not gonna be as good. And however, the other way may be harder. If somebody strictly powerlifter decide to go strictly calisthenics, because it's brutal out there, especially for the volume, the high intensity work. The you may you may not have the cardio required to go for all these high
Yeah.
reps. And that's another benefit of calisthenics. You kill two birds with one stone. You have the endurance, the cardiovascular endurance that you have. I mean, that you're building along with the muscular endurance. I remember those days. Those were good days, man. You just keep on slinging, pull up and push ups, and
Yeah. It
yeah,
gets you fit.
it's get your feet, man. You get your feet and you get you pumped up. And even bodybuilders that I think a lot of them they shit on calisthenics. I know, because all they see is the circus behind it. They never actually been behind the scene at the underground calisthenics where it's all set of reps. That shit will build your ass. That's how do you think people get swollen in jail and everything?
Exactly.
All they do is they have time to get all that volume in, and it does work, man. People just see it as a hippie maybe, and it's cool to lift heavy weight, even though it's cool. Only few people in the fitness industry I like to watch, lifting weights, but the rest is just a bunch of jackasses that just want to pander to the crowd, and they
Yeah.
have they have no clue what's going on. It's crazy. But I'm happy that your channel grew, and that at least somebody that makes sense and that can shed some light on things for the kids and the new generation, because a lot of kids are gullible, man. Like sometimes, like, even in real life here, like some people just ask me some question, and I'm like, I thought it was supposed to be a given. You're supposed to know that, but it looks like a lot of people just don't know. They don't know. They have no idea. So they just they absorb all information that comes to them, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Somebody or some people need to do something in the fitness industry, because it's going downhill, and I get sad. Not because my channel is not popular. I know in time it's gonna pop. It may never pop, who knows? Because when you're too real, man, it's hard to pop.
I agree.
And you just need to understand that that's your path, and you stay what you call 'em, stay hippie or too conservative
Hmm.
and take the risk of it. But at least few people that come across it, they know that's the real deal, and they'll use that information. It's gonna change their lives. And I believe that we're here to the only way you leave a good legacy is, the micro change that you did, like a few individual that you're able to affect, because you die tomorrow. Those are the people that remember you, not your
I agree.
hundreds of thousands of followers. They never met you, they never talked to you, so they don't really have that connection with you. So just be good to people and you should be fine. I know I'm not digressing, but yeah, that's just
No, I think
stuff that
yeah.
comes to mind. And yeah, so I'm glad, man. Keep rocking that shit, and keep making those keep promoting health, because health is the main reason why we do this thing.
Right.
And it became like people want to get as much protein as possible, as much shake, as much. We became a guinea pig of the industry of supplementation, and kids think that just because you take all this shit, nah, you're not gonna get anywhere close if you don't know what you do, and if you don't have the patience to stick to it. Oh, you get on the juice and you get that thing, and the moment you stop, you're gonna shrink. And how good is it to travel somewhere and have to wonder about, I need a stack, I need to do this and that, and I mean it's not worth it, man. And your balls, you sacrifice your balls, and for the rest of your life you have to get on some TRT. And why, man? Why? Just so you
Yeah.
can get swole? It makes no sense. But I guess we are different. People have different way of seeing life than you see, so can't really blame them. But nah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe the parents, and maybe the brothers, the sisters, somebody needs to talk to them. For real, man, somebody needs to talk to them.
Well, there's definitely a lot of craziness going on. That's for sure. That was some real talk right there, and I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
For being honest about that. So let so let's get back to talking about calisthenics, right?
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the idea of strength training, and I mean you got your one arm pull up, right?
Yeah, I did it. It was slappy. Even now I can do it. It's slappy, but you seen I've been on the drawing board.
Yeah.
I mean, working on my weak links so I can do it smoothly. Because when I do it, I jerk it, which is not a good technique. So my technique for it is not good at all. So even though I released a video of achieving a one-arm pull-up, you know, back in 2015 or something like that, I'm still working on it because I want to refine it and work on the weak link so that it is a smooth movement from bottom to the top.
Yeah. So like
Of course, yeah.
so the exercise is it's not just
Mhm.
about getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, it's
It's
about
about
when
executing it with perfect form, and that's something that I learned from watching you do your handstands. You
mhm.
have like really good alignment.
You may be able to do more repetition, but you're just stealing, you're
Yeah.
depriving yourself from gains. Because
Yeah.
if you modify the leverage to make it easier, then your shoulders are not getting the work that it's supposed to. So that's another thing. Again, with social media, you see somebody do something, and you feel like, oh man, I should be doing that too. And then it messes with your mind, and all of a sudden, instead of sticking to your path, you tend to try to make your body cheat so that you can get to that level fast. But again, you have to learn how to tame that beast, man, and stick to the basics, and just keep enhancing that base that you have until you're ready for the next level.
Okay.
And that's why this year, I mean, like, I think in the post I put, like, in the past 6 months I was able to get more results on my handstand work than I've done in the past 6 years.
Wow.
Because I started training handstand on and off since 2012, from 2012 to 2018, right? Yeah. So it's been on and off. So I did have a pretty decent base, but the fact that I'd reach out to my team, and we've been really strict about it. Like sometimes twice a day. The training program was twice a day, some days 6 days a week. So two of the 6 days will be twice a day, and the other days will be just once a day. It was brutal, man. Like, but the hard work has paid off, and my line is it's safe to assume that I've mastered at least a basic hold, because any given time I can just kick into the hold and then stick it. Back in the days, it would be like hit or miss, hit or miss. And so if you're still in that phase, you don't know how to handstand. You need to have the system integrity that if you just decide right now I want to go on handstand, you can hit it. So it's safe to think that I've reached that level where I can do it. Now I just have to enhance it and make my shoulder stronger, a lot stronger, so that I can do those 90 degrees push-ups and But the planche I think will transfer to the
Yeah,
to the
most definitely.
handstand. Yeah, the planche, because and again, speaking of the the progression, even though I can do a straddle planche, my straddle planche is the beginning version. It's not the feet extended one.
Okay.
So you have level to degrees to that. But if I keep on looking at other people and like, oh man, they do the straddle better than I do, it's gonna keep me from focusing on my, on mastering my level right now so I can get to the next level. And then the next thing you see is I will be jerking, trying to force my way to that next level, which is not the best approach about it. You need to keep on the tension for many set, many volume, weeks after weeks, months after months, sometime. And one day, just like that, the magic, you can do a straddle. Because I've been stuck like for 4 months on the tuck, yeah. And just one day, I went onto it, and then I got that straddle. I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right, I'm on a good path then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, man. So that's how it usually works. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that. So handstand is good. I'm good now. I can get five solid one, and on a good day, but at least two solid one any given day I could. On a good day I can push it. So another goal is to make it consistent. So you want to make that number consistent, then okay, I master that. I know the one is consistent, so I master one. So the rest is just depending on how recovered I am, and that's another thing I hate about training, and that's why I hate about having a specific program, because some days it's just not that good. But right now, it's a mixture of improvising and having a specific program. It's a hybrid way of doing things. So I'm happy about that, because once I had like a fixed program, it's just frustrating sometimes because your body I mean, it's just not ready for whatever you want to do, and you have a shitty workout, and oh man,
Yeah.
God, and you hope that next week it's gonna be a better one. And sometimes you have a shitty workout again that next week. Yeah, fuck, what am I doing wrong? So that's another issue. You can't really start doubting yourself because the body is doing trick. And then the third week, everything is fine. So it's interesting, man. But we experience, you understand that things like that will happen, and it's not necessarily your program that's bad. It's just some tricks that the body does that that's beyond our reach, and you just have to bear with it and trying to get as much sleep, trying to stay away from stress, family stress, or whatever stress you can reduce. Trying to reduce it. If you can get some anti-inflammatory stuff like turmeric and ginger, I love this one. Some magnesium bath. I even got some magnesium oil that I want to try and see anything that I can do in my power to optimize recovery. I will do it. The only thing I won't do is PEDs,
Right.
even though that could help, man. God, oh man. Sometimes, man, we could get some HGH and be like a connective tissue recovery machine, man. I'm ready to go tomorrow and hit it again, 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 because I think that's what HGH does, right? Like it makes your connective tissue stronger, and that's the ideal thing for calisthenics people, because we don't need big muscle. We need strong connective tissue. So the moment you do it, man, you'll be a machine. But it comes with a price, because
Right.
you may have an underlying gene out there for cancer, waiting to be triggered, and the ISG is just gonna instead of having some regenerative connective tissue, you'll be having those cells regenerating in the
Exactly. Yeah.
wrong way, going creating havoc over there. So I'm not taking that chance. Hell no. Even just for the ego of saying that I'm natural, I won't do that because I feel like I just want to do it as simply and naturally as possible. Even for my training style, it was really minimalist for the longest time. I think you were one of the people that are saying were more like adding stuff to
Yeah.
to the regimen. So I started being less and less strict about my visions of thing, and then Metin a little bit stem as well. He is not so minimalist. He has a very concurrent ways of doing things. But me, so that's how I know everything works. I've done minimalism for a long time and I've seen progress. And then I've tried the concurrent as well, and I've seen progress. So, but I think a concurrent can, uh, if you're smart, you can have some. Because you need high volume for recovery as well. So if you're smart in how you do things, you can mix them up so that you're never bored. You can
Exactly.
always have a great workout and still take advantage of how the body works to recover. But the problem with is like when I do something, I want to do that for the longest. I don't like to mix high volume
Okay.
and low volume. So I tend just to stick to what my goal is. I want to just stick to that because the moment I switch to high volume, whether it's in the macro cycle or a mesocycle, if I don't think I can even do for a meso because if I do 1 month of low volume, the next month there's no way I can focus and do because I'll be thinking about the previous month or how far I've gotten. I'll be so eager to get back to where I left it that I can't really focus on another whole cycle just doing high volume. Nah, I can't do that. Especially that muscle building is not my goal. Yeah. So what will work best for me will probably be like maybe 1 week of low volume and another week of what you call or high volume. But I noticed that the best thing will probably be 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Because anytime I deadlift, my system is fried. It's hard for me to recover from it. So if I give it 2 weeks, I believe my nervous system will be ready for the deadlift. And that's another thing I'm trying to figure out the equation. Like I think it's because I do a lot of stuff as well
Yeah.
that require my nervous system to be primed. But like for some reason, the deadlift takes a lot, uh, and I believe every 2 weeks I'm ready to go really, really good. Like last Friday, I was really good, but for the past month, it was really off and shitty. So I had to improvise those sessions. So I'm still trying to tweak and figure out like the ideal way to program myself and still recover. I think I know the answer already. I just do too much, and
Okay.
that's why I think I need a coach because I just want to do too much, and I end up doing much more than my body can handle. And now I have to have some shitty workouts sometimes. But in general, I'll be moving forward and faster than ever. So I'm planning to keep going that way for the longest.
Okay.
I don't think I will ever have injury again. No
Okay.
more.
Good. Very good. So, in reference to recovery, do
Yeah.
you feel that a calorie surplus is necessary for calisthenics, or is it not? Because if you're focusing on skills, like, do you need to be in one? Like, I understand that recovery is the most important factor here, but I see a lot of these athletes maintain their weight year round. And you
Mm.
said that right now you're 185 and it's not really
Yeah.
budging. So, are you eating in a surplus on some days and other days in a deficit? Like, how do you go about the dieting and the calories and all that?
Actually, I I don't. I listen to my body, but I want to believe that I'm in I'm in a slight surplus because I still walk a lot when I can, so that I can get my steps in or burn a certain amount of calories weekly to induce that deficit that's going to maintain my weight. But I do want to believe that I eat in a slight surplus. I don't count my calories, but I believe with how my body weight has been fluctuating, it's safe to assume that I'm on what you call I'm on an equilibrium, and the only way I was able to do it by doing so much cardio is because I'm eating on the surplus. Because sometimes I will not feel hungry like that, and some days I will just really feel hungry, and then I know that my body wants to, wants to feed it. And I mean, the surplus will definitely be easy for you to recover because you make sure that you have all the nutrient that you need to recover. But I cannot afford to do that right now to binge on the surplus because I need to maintain like a good body composition. So uh, you get caught up in between. Do you want to eat more and recover fully, and then get fatter, and then have more weight to move around, or you want to hang in there on the maintenance and get as much nutrient that you can possibly get, and be on the low weight? It's gonna be up to you to pick one. But I feel like a lot of body weight training, they starve themselves. They don't train legs on purpose just so that they can do the skill, which is, I mean, to each his own, but I don't think it's healthy. I would think more like it's like those model, those beauty model that have to starve themselves so they can be within a certain range of weight. That's how I feel like it is. If you just wanna not eat so you can do a front lever, I mean, what the fuck is that? So I will not do that. I will not starve myself just so I can do, hell no. At the same time, I'm not gonna binge the same way I would not binge if I was in powerlifting just so I can be heavy to lift heavy. Nah, I won't do that. To me, it's just everything in moderation. I just want to stay balanced.
Okay.
I think that's the key. Yeah, the circumstances will tell you whether you're doing too much or not. In my case, I've done the best I could. I reached a point where I will have to starve myself to lose muscle mass, cannibalize, the mass. I mean, why? So what will be next? Let's say I lose that 20 pound and I'm 165 and I can do all this thing. What's next? Okay, my channel is gonna blow. What will be next? What satisfaction would I get from being able to do those skills and having lost that much weight? I mean, would I be happier or not? So I don't think so. I'm happy land right now. I just want to be able to do more more movement. So I will just stick like that and train it. It will take long, but it will come. Trust me. I think last time you posted on Instagram, one of your followers, I mean, he reached out to me as well, telling me if he should stop training leg,
Okay.
because he started calisthenics. And I told him, no, hell no, you can do it. I mean, because I'm able to do it. I may not be there yet, where people will be like, wow, but I'm getting there, and every day I'm getting closer. And people who've been following from the beginning, they understand that, okay, yeah, this is consistency right there. Because I've had comment like, oh, how come you have a nice physique but you don't do as good of skills as some of the people in calisthenics and this and that. And of course you got some stupid trolls, but people don't really understand how the body works. So they just don't know. They don't know. Those typical people that supposedly do this and this, we're not in the same league. It's totally different leagues, but they just don't care. All you can do is stay in your lane, create your path. I have my own style. I combine mobility, powerlifting, weightlifting, everything that I feel can make me a better athlete. And I live fitness. I like to be fit, and what's the best way to show that the body is great, uh, other than staying natural, because the body is amazing, man. You'll be amazed how much you can do if you put work and you stay consistent. I want to do so much stuff I can't do, like flipping, parkour, crazy stuff. That will be the next thing I will learn. But right now, because I'm so focused on strength goals, until I get them and solidify them, I don't want to take any risk. Because in the moment you start doing something else and you injure yourself, then all the work you've been putting for the strength work goes down to the drain. So I'm patient. Another maybe year or two of strength training. Once I reach the solid foundation, then I can play around with, because I would like to do some parkour stuff and flipping here and there. I'm a little jealous when I see those people doing. Again, I think I have a condition of wanting to do something my body is not meant for. I want to be able to do the lightweight people stuff, and I just like I'm attracted to those kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff.
Well, you can
So
do it. It's gonna take a little bit
just
longer.
gonna take me longer, and like you can see, was what you call the weightlifter,
The
the Irish guy.
Clarence Kennedy.
Clarence Kennedy,
Yeah.
yeah, he tricks and he does the tricking and all these things. So yeah, you can do it, and that's another one I respect. Man. That guy is his form is man. When I grow up, I want to be like him. He just make things look so effortless and salutes Clarence. Yeah, so that's that, man.
Okay, so all right, so I want to backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit about building muscle. So,
Yeah,
in your opinion, what would be one of the best ways of getting bigger arms through bodyweight training?
body weight training, milk the dips and pull ups for the longest you can. I would say for everybody before they go to before they ascend to the weighted calisthenics, you need to be able to get uh, 15 pull ups and 30 dips. That's my guideline. That's what I believe. If you want to milk it even more, build until you can do 20 pull up in a row, because that's pretty respectable standard for an average human being, and 40 dips before you start playing with added weight onto it. So once you get the basics pull and dips, then you can start the real deal with the weighted calisthenics. That's how you're gonna get the big mass, because you definitely need some extra load to stimulate that. I mean, the type of growth that would make impressive, hypertrophy, muscular development. So weighted dips will be for the triceps, uh, what you need, and weighted pull up, and do all the grip variation. Neutral, what you call supinated, pronated. I think another mistake I did, if I was to do over again, is to focus too much on the pronated.
Okay.
Once, because when I started, I couldn't do the pronated version. Like every beginner, I could kind of jerk like 13 or 8 repetition on 8 to 13 repetition on the chin up with not so much so much range of motion, and could do one pronated version. So once I was able to do it, I just kept doing it, and I got good at the pronated version. And fast forward, like last year, my forearm was so tight, like the supinated version is hard. So I lost the flexibility
Wow. Okay.
in my forearm because they got so tight to do the supinated. But now, I mean, I've trained so much supination and worked on that one arm that I kind of gotten used to it, and it's better now. But if I was to do over again, I would have kept on working both what you call 'em, both grip. Yeah.
And would you include certain accessory movements like on the rings,
On the rings, yeah.
like the pelican curl, for example? 'Cause I know you
Yeah,
got that.
Pelican Curl, I think it's good to prime your, what you call them. It is good to prime your bicep tendon, and it's a lot of load as well on the, what you call them. It can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. That's why I would suggest people to be careful doing the Pelican Curl. But it is a great tool to put some tension in your biceps. I think it's more of a prehab exercise to solidify your tendons and keep you from injuring yourself. Of course, in the event of trying stuff like a festo, which is like the reverse muscle up, but as a tool to build muscle in the biceps, from my experience, I have not used that long enough to build muscle with it. I only used that when I was trying to just get the pelican curl, and I was able to get it. And I think last time on the rings, I was able to do some type of infesto, which is another crazy thing I shouldn't have done because it was risky. I was just being stupid because I believe it's so dangerous that at my weight I need to stay away from the infesto. But it's a cool move.
Okay.
I felt good and I gave it a try. It was good. Good thing I didn't lock out.
Right.
I was slightly bent, so I kept at least, like I said, I listened to my body and I was able to perform it without, yeah.
What about advanced ring moves in general? Do you feel that this could play a big role in building muscle?
Which one?
Advanced moves on the rings. Like, do you think this could take you far in building muscle, or would you rather just do more volume or just basic weighted calisthenics?
You need a different type of stimulus at some point. Working with the bar alone at some point will become obsolete, and you need a different type of variation. And because the rings give you just enough challenge and not too much challenge, it is a great tool to step up your calisthenics game. If it was one tool that I would buy, it would be the rings for sure. And I carry my rings pretty much all the time. You can hang it on a ring, I mean, tree or anywhere. In terms of muscle building, because you have so much stabilization involved, I believe maybe the muscle maturity will be different because when people complain about the fact that they can't get past a certain amount of weight, I want to believe that it doesn't have to be the size of the muscle only. The quality of the muscle will play a role in how people perceive you. So even if you're only limited to a certain amount of weight throughout your lifetime, maybe after you reach that limit, the way those muscles gonna look through the persistent training will be different. Because every time people see me, they're always thinking I'm big or this and that. Even when I cut, I mean, of course, the illusion, they're always thinking I'm changing. So I want to believe that persistent work uh, on the muscle would definitely make your muscle look different. Like even some of the little form
Yeah.
stabilizers from working a lot on one on work and everything will look different than somebody who just does bicep curl, and isolate things. So so that's the.
Okay. So I want to talk more about muscle building, and then we'll move on to a final topic. So,
Mhm.
in regards to building the shoulders, do you feel that one can get very good development just through handstand push-ups alone? Because you did overhead press a large amount of weight, and
Mhm.
I don't know if you've been training for that specifically, or if it's just the handstands gave you that type of carryover. But like,
I think it didn't take me too long to carry over. I mean, to get my body weight on the what you call them, on the on the overhead press. So I didn't train too long before I got to get my body weight up. And I want to believe that it was due to the handstand push up that I was able to get that much strength to train for just maybe 2 months and be able to get my body weight over. Like I think it was like 185 at that time that I was able to get up. Yeah, but it didn't take me too long. So maybe it's just a gift that I have pushing overhead. I don't know that led me there, but it didn't take me too long. And I've been doing a lot of handstand push up as well. Even though my form was whack back in the days, like by any means, just push up and down. I did a lot of upside down, back facing the wall push ups. I didn't know better back then. I think until now people still do. But if you want to learn the regular handstand push up, you want to have your stomach facing the wall. That's the best way to mimic the movement part in itself. So there's so many stuff I could have done differently if I needed to. Yeah.
okay, no problem. And for the back, I mean, we all know that pull-ups will build a great back, so I don't know if there's much to say about that. But would you say that one can get complete development just through the pulls alone, or do you think other accessories should be added? Like I know you do your deadlifts, but let's say you were to drop deadlifting completely, would you see a difference in your back? Maybe the spinal rectors, or is it just really pull-ups that gives you the majority of the mass here?
What do you mean, like?
Well, like if you just do pull-ups, for example,
Mhm.
but nothing else, like you're not doing inverted rows, for example,
Yeah.
or just not doing weights in general, like you're not doing barbell rows or deadlifts or hyper extensions. How far could you take it back, in your opinion?
I mean, for my first, what you call 'em, for the first uh, what you call 'em,
2 years?
2 3 years of my training, I never actually uh, train row because I was believing the pull ups were superior to to the rows. I should have known better. So that's another thing I regret, having not focused on the row, because I could have had like elevated feet or anything. Because the row was for me a way to build up to the pull up, because that's one of the way that I train my client as well, to build up to the pull up. So I just really never focused on the row itself, and I could have done weighted row, weighted body row, and with the vest and so on, but I didn't do it. And my back was just fine. It's just probably the strength in it that was lacking, that I realized later on, because to retract, even on the lever, you need some type of
Yeah.
rowing strength to do it. So who knows? Maybe the fact that I'm having a hard time holding that lever is due to the lack of rowing in my early phases of training. But I don't think so, because my rowing strength is pretty there, because I've even rolled like what you call 365, even though it was kind of a little bit of jerking momentum. But I have a solid 315 roll without momentum for sure. I have a pretty solid rolling strength. It's just the skill. I mean, I just have to keep training it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I believe if I were to let go of everything, I think my back would still be fine, because whether you like it or not, whenever you pull, to a certain extent, the whole back is gonna get engaged, and you have like the scapular pull, yeah. So if you arch your back and then pull up, that will be one way to hit two birds with one stone. You have um, you have both a little bit of rowing, and then you have the regular pull up. So you have many ways to
Right.
make it work. But I would believe the pull up is a powerful tool. Like if you to only have a bar and you restrain somewhere, you crank up the pull up. Yeah, you definitely make make good use of your time. Yeah.
Okay.
Of
Awesome.
course, that arch scapular pull will never replace your um, the row, but you can definitely use the pull up and kill like many birds with one stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the last muscle group would obviously be the legs. Now you mentioned that you obviously you got very good at pistol squats. Would you feel that? Well, do you believe that this contributed the most to your leg mass as a whole? Like when you switched to the barbell back squat to get better at it, did you see a major difference in your leg size, or was it really the fact that you were getting better at the back squat? In other words, how much mass did you accumulate through pistol squats? And do you think that if one got really good at weighted pistols alone, that they wouldn't have to do back squats or the movements like that
If
to become a
if I
fully
gain
athlete?
if I gain any mass, it will probably be like an inch and a half,
Okay.
since I transferred to the barbell squat. So I don't think it's much, but my legs got definitely bigger by transferring to the back squat. But I've already had that solid foundation that the base was just doing all pistol squat. If I had just stuck to pistol squat, my leg would still be fine. Because right now, if I'm to lose 1 inch on my leg, or an inch and a half, it would just get me back to the days of pistol squat. But it's safe to assume that the barbell squat is definitely a superior means of building, leg mass. But the pistol squat can definitely make you gain a lot of muscle mass, yeah, if you stick to it long enough, yeah. A religious about progressive overload onto it and don't give up. You can still build solid. The reason why I transfer is I think it's pure ego though, because I wanted to show that I can barbell squat too. I guess, yeah. Because otherwise, I could have just stuck to the pistol squat. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I just like to be a living experiment and try things and be able to tell people, okay, I done it and this is how it does and that's how you should do it. Even the squat every day as well. I've done it, and after 60 days, I've gained an inch in my leg. So it did work. But the moment I stopped the squat every day, I went back down again to whatever it was before the squat every day. So
And
yeah.
for the pistol squat weighted, what is the best way of loading it? Some people they do the searcher, some with the front. I noticed you've used a lot of variations on your channel. I've seen you do overhead, even dumbbell one on like on
Right.
one side. What is the best way of loading up for weighted pistol squats, or
I
should you
think
just do them all?
the best way to load it would be to do in the front rack with the barbell. So with that, it will force you to keep your spine neutral.
Okay.
Because I think another downside of the pistol squat is it makes it hard because of the body, the
Yeah, like the butt
anthropometry
wink.
makes it hard to have the spine neutral. So unless you train that spine flexion and really strong, it will be hard for you to have to sustain a lot of load in that flexion and still perform the exercise safely. So the good news is there's so much you can put on one leg, right, to squat. I guess everything was happened for a reason. Because if you could put 400 in pistol squat, then you in trouble if you have to be in that flexion of the spine. So luckily, the load that people can use is not big enough to hurt the spine.
Right.
But for you to have a good neutrality in the spine, I figure like the front squat, I mean the front rack would be the best way to go about it. And I've had to use some plates as well.
Yeah,
It
yeah. I saw those. Those are brutal.
used to just look pretty cool because I think when I was doing those challenges with Adam, we used to call them like the Viking shield because you have it in your back, when
Yeah.
you squat. So and they're practical. You do 245s, one on each side, and you can crank up like you have 40 kilogram per reps. And I think that was my second phase, and the last phase was the front rack. Since I started with the front rack, I never went back. I don't remember when I used the plate anymore. I don't use the plate anymore. I think the best way is just to get comfortable with our front rack, and then
Okay.
the rest is to enhance your hip mobility so that you can be as upright as possible and comfortable when you go down. Yeah.
And should perfect form be used on every repetition? Because when you're going weighted, it could be a bit more challenging in the
Yeah, it
stabilization
is.
aspect.
It is challenging. So, like any lift, the heavier you go, the form is going to be compromised. That's why you don't want to be getting up all the time and try to max right your pieces. Well, I know you said that every workout pretty much you max
Yeah.
at some point you've been able to max
Different variation though.
the variation. Oh, got you. Okay, yeah. So you definitely wanna you wanna know, of course, whatever you can handle and go with with a sub maximal load that you can whatever you decide your program is gonna be. Your form is gonna be bothered a little bit, but if you know the skill, if you because it's a skill after all, if you master the skill, it shouldn't be a big deal. Any load should be able to look the same. If somebody is struggling, that means he lacking hip mobility or ankle mobility. So you see people because I mean a lot of people have done heavy load close to what I've done, but when you see the ease with which I perform mine
Yeah, it's a lot cleaner for sure.
compared to is different. I don't strain at all when I do mine. That's how you know that okay, this is something you own, and you get like a little pause, and then you get up. But
Right.
so you see people in all kind of weird
Yeah, yeah,
shape
yeah.
and stuff. So it's about training it to get comfortable with the movement, and then once you get comfortable with the movement, you should be good. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
fantastic. And one final thing about legs.
Mhm.
I seen in some of your older videos, and this was also the time where you were doing a lot of pistol squats. You were doing these amazing box jumps. Did you train for that specifically, or did all the stuff that you were doing with your leg training at the time carry over?
But all the thing is just those are stuff that I like to do. Your cat's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a thing I like to do, and I think all the strength work kind of carried over. Now I wanna know if my back squat increase, how my jump is gonna be, because
Right.
it's believed that if your absolute strength goes up, then technically
Yeah, it should help.
your ability should be able to go slightly higher, even though. I mean, the whole strength may not be activated fast, but it should have a certain, carry over to your jump. So we will
Absolutely.
see.
For sure. I keep going back to pistol squats, but
Hmm.
it's one of the most impressive things I've seen on your channel, and it's very motivating.
Hmm.
I want to know in terms of programming it. When you're doing the sets and reps, is it better to alternate? So you go left leg, right leg, back and forth, or should you just do all your reps on one leg first and then switch to the next?
No, you should do if you want to progress. You want to do all the reps on one leg first, and
Okay.
then do the takes. Even sometimes take some break, because after one set on one leg, it feels like a whole set. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you take a little break, and then go. And then on the next set, you start with the other leg, and then you take maybe that 1 minute break. Not as long as a break as you would take in between big sets, but just a little bit of break, just same way I do for my one arm pull up, like maybe 30 seconds to a minute at most, and then do the second set. So by not taking too long, you kind of force your cardio as well to sustain, both leg at the same time. And then you have those days where you can get like you can go for a marathon. Those are the one you were doing like 60,
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those I would back in the days I would do them like maybe once a month or so, and just go for as long as I can. Yeah, I think I did 100 and something first, and then my longest was 212. That I did in 2014. It was the longest that I've done. Since then, I've never done marathon again. But it was fun.
I
Yeah.
think that might be a world record or something, an unofficial
Good.
at least.
I think I titled it, but more like for what you call them, clickbait. In reality, I mean, who cares if I did like? I think it might be because pretty much I think I'm the only person that does so many stuff with pistol squat. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Just some people look like ballerinas. Hardcore lifters gonna see that. Oh yeah, it's his ballerina and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's still. I think people don't understand how
They don't
challenging it
understand.
could be.
Yeah, I don't understand, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So now, if I can back squat too, you say ballerina, right? Okay, I can do this too. How about you do this pistol now? If you
Yeah.
that ballerina, those are kind of the reason why, like, I mean, I'm attracted to a little bit of everything, so that people who are biased about their own, their own discipline, they need to be put in their place, because
Yeah.
you shouldn't be bashing somebody just because you do something else,
What's up?
everything is great. People gonna do what they love to do. So
Okay. So we're getting near the end of this interview. I'm gonna ask you a few more questions, and then we will leave it at that. All right. So I want to know your thoughts on resistance bands for calisthenics athletes. Do you feel that they can benefit one's mobility or even strength development?
resistance band, I think they can use that for assistance for some of the variation, the progression exercise,
Yeah, like front leverage
skill
with the bands and all that.
skill exercise, but um, the efficacy of it has not been proven. I don't know of whoever ever used the bands and have gotten results, but my common sense would suggest that it can be used. The only use of the band that I have is just for mobility work, like shoulder dislocation,
Right.
for example. For people who don't have access to a rod, even though I would suggest a rod, which I'm gonna answer, like one of the best stretch you can have for your shoulder for extreme mobility would be the shoulder dislocation.
Right.
In addition to the pancake, those are the two exercises. If I was to go like right now, to give me two exercises I should do for the rest of my life to increase my mobility. So increase the engine on the top, which are the shoulder, and engine at the bottom, which are the hips. Be able to do the pancake and refining that movement. But yeah, the bend can be useful, but I only use them for mobility work, and on the days off you can use them for recovery by doing extremely high repetition as well of maybe curls or triceps extension to get the blood flowing around your elbow. For people who suffer from golfer elbow or tennis elbow, I mean that could be a good way to help with the recovery, because of the fact that blood now irrigates those connective tissue. having high repetition and low intensity can be helpful for the recovery. So I think that's pretty much the only use of the band. Other than that, just gotta go and lift the goddamn weight and lift your body.
Okay, good. So,
uh,
on the subject of mobility, then, what are some of your favorite drills, um, just in general, to feel good, and of course for calisthenics athletes?
my number one drill is the shoulder dislocation. So you use the bar and that you flip around, and the closer you have the your hands to each other, the more mobility it requires to flip the ball on the other side. So you just need to start light, and then with a wide range of motion, as you get stronger through the range of motion, you get closer and closer. That's about it. That's the number one upper body routine that I would suggest. For the second one, which would be on the lower end, will be the pancake. By drilling the pancake often enough, you'll be able to increase the hamstring flexibility that you need to stay healthy, and increase that range of motion into your hip capsule to be able to perform any athletic endeavor with much ease, whether it's squats or you know whether it's squat, because those are pretty much the hardest movement that require extreme hip mobility, because the deadlift you don't really need that much hip mobility for the hip hinge, but for the squat the more flexible and the more mobility you have in your hip, the better, smoother your form will be. So yeah, pancake is a great exercise. I like to keep it simple, so upper body shoulder dislocation and lower body pancake. You also have like the horse stance that can be used for, I mean, to work on your splits. But this is a third one that you can use for the, yeah. But you have like like a whole what you call 'em, a whole sea of exercise that you can use. But the more
Yeah.
important is shoulder dislocation. I love those.
Okay,
And
perfect.
yeah,
All right. So, I want to know, what is the importance of the posterior pelvic tilt or hollow body in calisthenics?
posterior pelvis tilt.
Yeah.
It's everything. Whether you work on the lever, on the planche, on the what you call for you to activate your core properly. When you do the leg raises, you need that posterior pelvis. I made a video about how to the most important ab exercise, and the exercise itself is a posterior pelvis tilt. Because once you learn how to activate, you don't even need to move your legs anymore. Because by just hanging in there and engaging your glutes and posterior pelvis tilting, you bring the pelvis floor to the rib cage. That contraction alone is really is overriding in calisthenics movement to keep that sturdiness throughout the whole body. Yeah, you need to have that posterior pelvis tilt really tight. Yeah, and I think the whole body is the result of a posterior pelvis tilt as well. So yeah, posterior pelvis tilt is going to be used in a lot of calisthenics exercise, and it's a mechanism that needs to be understood and hopefully overused by the individual to maximize his gains, in the calisthenics. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
The final theme of this video is for people who are starting, they're new to calisthenics. They want some basic beginner advice. So just, what would some of your advice be regarding someone who wants to get better at push-ups?
Somebody who wants to get better at push-ups, just start with doing push-ups. If you can already do some push-ups, great. Aim to build volume and start with basic progressive overload. Figure out how many push-ups you can do maximally to failure, and then use 2/3 of it, 70% of it or so, and just do it every day. And every week you add few repetition until you can do that maximum every day, because that's how crazy it can be. You can do that. Your maximum you can easily get to your maximum every day within few weeks by just slowly, building up to it. So starting with figuring out how much you can do. If you can do only like 30 in a row, and you want to be able to do that properly, not those
Yeah.
flaring out jerky, like proper form, because that's the only way you can maximize your gain using in calisthenics. Don't be cutting yourself short of gains by modifying the leverage and making the exercise easier. And the time under tension is going to be key as well. Don't be going up and down, and bobbing your head. We have done it. I've done it as well. But with somebody who should know better, you don't cheat on the form. If you want to build muscle with calisthenics, you need to make sure that you can use the full range of motion and be really under control. And strength wise as well, it's gonna carry over pretty fast, in your journey. But if you start everything wrong, then it's gonna take you longer to realize that this is your fault, and then even longer to fix it because your ego has gotten big already. You've been doing that for that long. Okay, why am I gonna go back on the drawing board and start from scratch? And that's usually the mistake. I mean, it's usually what happens to people who've been doing that for a long time and have so bad form. It's hard for them to listen that they actually have a bad technique. Yeah, good form. So yeah, for a beginner, figure out how much you can do. Use 2/3 of it, 70% of the number, and do it every goddamn day until you can do your maximum. And once you reach that maximum, I mean that's another story. You can find a different scheme, but it's gonna take you a little bit to get to that maximum. Just be sure that you do that every day. Those push-ups, yeah.
And the same thing would apply for the pull-ups, I'm guessing.
For the pull-ups, yeah, for the pull-ups, the recovery may be a little slower. So I would say for the pull-up, it will do that every other day. Yeah.
Okay. And what about the legs?
For the legs, try to, if you only want to stick to body weight training, try to learn the pistol squat because that's the only intense body weight exercise you can use, I think, to build muscle mass, I believe, because the body weight squat itself will maybe enhance a little bit of athleticism, keep your legs healthy, but in terms of building mass, I don't think it will be much helpful. Or maybe you grow just for a little bit, for a little while, and then stay stagnant because it won't be enough to put the tension, make you recruit enough fibers there won't be enough mechanical tension. Maybe with some metabolic fatigue, but that alone will not be good to maximize your growth in your leg. So learn if you want to build muscle using pistol squat. I mean calisthenics, just learn the pistol squat, and that alone, the process to get it may get your leg bigger because all the hustle and you're gonna go through to learn the skill. Yeah, will make your muscle grow, and mobility is, I think, the most important thing about pistol squat, because the reason why most people can't do it is because they have a poor mobility in the ankle. And once you fix the mobility in the ankle, if you have decent strength, you should be able to do the pistol squat.
So then, one final thing in regards to the form, you said that you should be using a controlled tempo, correct? Like not these bouncy repetitions, but
Yeah,
it doesn't have to
bouncy.
be a slow rep though. It just has to be under
Let's be
control.
control. Yeah, not slow, not extremely slow, not that time and attention thing that bodybuilder like take
Right, right, right.
about 10 seconds. No, 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 no.
Okay.
Just control enough so that you don't. Something that you will control with to avoid hurting yourself. If you're using extremely heavy weight, you do the same thing
Okay.
for the body weight. Yeah.
And would you recommend a combination of pausing and touch and go, but like light touch and go?
Yeah. You should incorporate both. When you first start, you don't want to really pause. You want to just do the touch and go, because so you want to milk the touch and go first, and then once you reach a point where you can't progress anymore, then you're gonna make it harder by adding the pauses to take to get the tension out of the muscle and then recruit the muscle again. So I would say at the beginning, you start with the touch and go first without, of course, bouncing,
Perfect.
and later on you can start adding like pauses. So many ways to play around with the pauses, either on top, either at the bottom, either in the mid range. So many variations. So Yeah.
And if someone is like they're brand new to calisthenics, what would you direct them to? Like, what would be your number one piece of advice for someone who's completely new?
For somebody who already knows how to do the basic stuff but have to learn, because you have two categories. You have those people who don't know how to even do the basic, push up, that you have to train to learn. So that's another protocol to
Okay.
get you there. You have the assistance. I mean, but for somebody who already know how to do a few pull up, one push up, so
Yeah,
I would
basically
just
like
stick
that.
to the pull ups, the straight on the pull ups, the dips, and the push-ups, and then you add the pistol squat. Those five exercises will be just good to get you started. So you have one pulling vertical, one vertical pull, one horizontal pull. You have the dips, even though it's arguable, arguable uh, to to claim that it is a vertical push, but I'll consider that a vertical push. And then you have the push-ups, which is a horizontal push. And then to that, you have the pistol squat. You have those five great exercises that you can use as a beginner. Don't listen to anybody. Just stay in your lane and then be patient, man. Yeah, consistency.
And
Yeah.
then the last question I have for this interview is there anything else that you would recommend that could be extremely beneficial in improving one's life or fitness journey in general? Like, what is your top message for today?
So much to say, man. My only advice would be to the newbies, be wise of who you look up to, and because being impressionable, whoever you put your attention to is gonna impact the rest of your life or your fitness journey, your fitness the journey. So make sure that you stay focused uh, on your goals. Know what you want, and then once you pick what you want, stay focused and work hard and consistently on it, because it's not going to be easy. It's really hard. It's hard, because most people are not gifted. Most people will just have to bust their head fucking hard and stay consistent at it. But trust me, the results always come if you know how to stay patient. And meanwhile, the way you to make it easy to stay patient is to surround yourself with people that inspires you, and then that inspire you and that live the lifestyle that they're preaching. Because a lot of people talk shit. They want to be motivational and all this shit, but they don't really live that lifestyle. They don't really like it. People do that for the clout, like they say, and yeah, you need to really be wise of who you follow. Pick wisely who you follow. I think that would be the best advice. Pick wisely who you follow, and then when it comes to yourself, pick your goals. Make sure that that's your goal. Don't pick that goal because your your friend feel like this is something you should do. It has to be something that you want to do and that you passionate about. And once you have passion for it, there's no way you cannot have the patience that needs to get your goal. That's the thing. My advice to any beginner: you can make it happen. It's just a matter of how resilient you are. I mean, how resilient you are in staying consistent. Like I said in the beginning of the interview, there are levels to consistency. Some people think they're consistent, but the real consistency comes when everything gets really super hard and it feels like there is no tomorrow. That's when you have to find the will and the power to stay that extra consistent to get the result. Because it may just be your next progression may just be a week from now. And if you give up today, all the thing you've been working for is for nothing. So yeah. So pick wisely who inspires you and who you look up to. Pick a goal that you know that is yours and nobody else, and stay consistent at achieving that goal. With those three, I don't think you'll be anything can stop you. You'll be unstoppable. And yeah, stay natural. If you
Great.
decide to get on the other side, I have friends who got on the side, but I mean, they compete, so that's understandable. And it's in a league where strongman and stuff like that, you to be competitive, you have to be on gear. But if you're the little recreational bodybuilder, come on, man. You know, don't get in the juice. You don't need to get on the juice and stay natural because you need your balls. You're gonna need your balls more than you need those fake muscles. You know, that those temporary fake muscles. So that's my advice, man.
Okay. Well,
Stay natural. Yeah. Mm.
well, I think that's an excellent message. And with
Yeah.
that pretty much concludes this interview. Meckanimal, I want to thank you so much for being here today. I have no doubt this will help out a ton of people who are looking to improve themselves in many aspects of life. So I thank you greatly for sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us.
And I do appreciate for you having me on your platform, and I know many people that have a successful channel, but not all of them are willing to host somebody else because people are usually selfish. But I feel like it's a message that it's gonna help a lot of people. So I'm thankful that you are willing to let me speak my mind. And my channel is Meckanimal, and I put a lot of content all the time. Some people find it boring, but hey, you at least my life is like a documentary. Like a lot of my training is on footage. So if you're one of those people that like to follow progress and stay motivated or inspired, my channel is the one to go. I have some here and there informational video that I put up there, but I just stay a lot focused more on the training part of it. So yeah, thank you again, Alex.